Hi, I'm Pandora Scooter, and you are watching Out at the Center.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Take your time. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it.
The Right Reverend Gene Robinson was elected as the first openly gay, non-celibate Episcopal bishop in 2003. While supported by his congregation in New Hampshire, the election has caused controversy and struggle in the Anglican Church worldwide. Robinson visited the center and discussed his recent book, In the Eye of the Storm. He talked about his civil union with his partner for 21 years, Mark Andrew, and his ongoing effort to encourage LGBT inclusion in the church. You can download the entire discussion as an audio podcast. Visit gaycenter.org/out for the link.
Out and Faithful proudly presents, as part of our 25th anniversary programming, the Bishop Gene Robinson.
Wow, look at all of you. I didn't know there were this many gay people in New York. The rumors are apparently true. It is just wonderful to be here. This is my first time at the center, and I'm so impressed. This is sort of a big year for me because I've got the book called In the Eye of the Storm that's just come out, and the civil union, and then of course my participation or non-participation, depending on how you look at it, at the Lambeth Conference of Bishops. I'll say more about that in just a moment. Let me start with the recent news. Who would have thought we would have lived to see what we've just lived to see in California and Massachusetts and all those things? And what I think we're seeing, particularly with the addition of California, is the beginning of a sort of a tsunami. I mean, this toothpaste isn't going to go back in the tube, you know? I figured 20 years was enough of a trial period with my partner, and I can attest to the fact that the first 10 days has been pretty good. The day of my consecration, when Mark and I were strapping on our bulletproof vests, our daughters were naturally worried about us. And, you know, it gave me the opportunity to say to them, you know, one of the great rewards about being a person of faith is you come to understand that death isn't the worst thing. Not living your life, now that's a bad thing. If something happens today, you will know beyond any doubt that as best I can discern it, I am doing what God wants me to do. And it doesn't get any better than that. Faith is what let me do this, and to not be afraid. I just before putting on my bulletproof vest, before my consecration, I took an hour's nap. I slept like a baby. And it's part of what I meant about being swept to the center by God. I could no more have done that myself than fly to the moon. I named the book In the Eye of the Storm. One of the priests in my diocese, who's now my assistant, and actually who presided at our civil union, brought me this little piece of calligraphy that said, sometimes God calms the storm, and sometimes God lets the storm rage and calms his child. And that has sort of been my mantra. The subtitle is Swept to the Center by God. I don't think we ever find our way by ourselves into that center calm place, but I think God will bring us there if we're open to being there. This upcoming Lambeth Conference, just sort of a quick introduction to the bizarreness of the Anglican Communion. Once every 10 years since 1868, the Archbishop of Canterbury has invited all of the Anglican bishops to meet with him. And in 1868, of course, not all that many could make it to London, and there were a lot fewer bishops. And it met at the Archbishop of Canterbury's residence, the Lambeth Palace, and hence the name, the Lambeth Conference. Now it takes place in Canterbury on the campus of the University of Kent. And for the first time since 1868, a duly elected and consecrated bishop has not been invited, and that would be me. But I'm going anyway because, yeah. I just think those guys, and they're mostly guys, thank God we've got, I think it's between 15 and 18 women now, most from the American church. But I don't think they ought to be allowed to meet as if you and I didn't exist. And I want to be there to remind them that we are part of their flock, we are part of their church, and they dare not remember us.
The Center's Promote the Vote campaign is seeking to register 2,000 voters this election season. We need your help. Go to gaycenter.org/PTV to get involved. And now a word from Promote the Vote volunteers making a difference.
Promote the Vote is the Center's voter registration, education, and mobilization project. Our goal is to create a visible LGBT voting constituency.
I personally feel it's important to vote because I feel that our voices need to be heard, and I feel that, especially as queer youth, we need to vote on who we feel is going to demonstrate us and represent us.
I register old people and young people. Those are two important because old people are being pushed out and young people are not being encouraged to come in and become a part of what's going on.
Is it hard for people to register to vote?
Absolutely not. You could register here at the center on your next visit, or you could register online at gaycenter.org. We have a voter registration tool up, so you could register.
I think it's important to make people aware of the importance of voting, being involved.
It helps people to realize and get more involved in the community, help be involved in decisions that their policymakers make for them.
We really need more volunteers to move forward with our goal. Our goal is to register 2,000 people in New York City, and we're always looking for volunteers. So volunteering is really a lot of fun. We have different events. We go to bars, register people there. It's really a social event, but at the same time, volunteers do a vital service for the community, and that's registering people to vote.
We need to get together and vote and take over the government the way it should be. Government should belong to the people. We're the people.
Author Terence Dean sat down with the Center's Clay Kane to talk about his recent book, Hiding in Hip Hop, that exposes the underground gay scene in the hip hop music world of the 90s.
Well, first of all, you know, I have a book coming out myself, and publishing is an exhausting experience, so congratulations on getting your book out. Before you wrote the book, did you talk with any of the folks in the entertainment industry, the artists behind the scenes that you had sexual relations with, about writing this book?
I did. I actually called everyone, not everyone, a lot of people, you know, you got to go through their managers and publicists nowadays, and, you know, numbers change. But majority of the people I did contact, and I told them that I was writing the book, that they would be a part of the book. And a lot of them were very supportive, which I was very shocked. Because I thought that they would immediately say, no, and what are you doing, and you're crazy, why are you writing this? But then after I started writing, they called me and they said, well, what did you say about me? Read it to me. And I would read them the passage, and they was like, well, could you just change and tweak a little bit? That's too much of a description.
So when you, in the book, you say that you couldn't see yourself being successful if you were openly gay. When you look back on retrospect, because, I mean, you do have folks like Emil from Vibe, you have Andre Leon Talley, although he's not really in hip-hop. Do you think if you would have not been on the down low, that your career could have went even farther because you were behind the scenes? Like, when you look back, do you think it was necessary for you to live that, because it was eating you up, for you to live that kind of secretive life?
For me, it was, again, when I talk about the book span, it was for the 90s or leading to the early 2000s. I had never seen a man who was openly gay in an executive decision-making role in entertainment. There was no Emil Wilbekin at that time. There was no Andre Leon Talley at that time that I can identify with, because most of the images I had seen about gay men were very effeminate images. So I knew I did not identify with that, which I say in the book, because I didn't see myself as that way. I was looking for just a regular man who looked similar to me, who was just, he liked sports, liked cars, but he just had an interest in men. His desire was to sleep with men. I never saw a successful black man in that role. So I felt that's why I needed to hide my sexuality. And again, many of the men I met who were like me, it was discussed among us, don't say anything. We can never be open about what we do, because in order to advance in our careers, we have to be very private about what we do.
So if a hip-hop artist came to you now and said, you've been in this industry for a long time, I'm thinking about coming out. What advice would you say do it? Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, it is a process, and I think, if they are interested in coming out, I think the community is very supporting now. Like, it's a different time now. I think kids are, they're much more savvier. We have the internet, we have media technology, we have the Harvey Milk School here in New York, we have LGBT schools across the country. So I meet so many young people who are like, oh, I have gay friends. It's no big deal for young people. It's the adults, who have this phobia. And for some reason, we think that there's a taboo associated and attached to it. That's why we are afraid to come out. An artist right now who's already at the top of his game, who has a huge fan base, and because hip-hop now is geared and catered toward young people, I think young people will care less.
Are you still having sex with celebrities, or is that a no-no for you now, considering what you went through?
That's for book 2.
Oh, wow, okay. Maybe you'll reveal some names. Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Dean, for coming to the LGBT Center. I hope you weren't too scared with the gay people.
Thank you, Craig.
Yes, no problem. So y'all should buy the book.
Yes, please.
There's some erotic
Please buy
scenes.
a book.
It's like porn.
You're not buying the book for the erotic scenes. You're buying the book for the story.
Yes.
The Center's health campaign this summer highlighted members of our community who have found recovery support at the center. The following health message, Educate Yourself About Crystal Meth, set in Long Island, seeks to raise awareness about substance use in our neighboring communities and what we should know about it.
Crystal meth definitely is somewhat of a temptation out on Long Island.
On the corner or in front of a house, it's all over the place.
Yeah, there's pressure. My friends do crystal meth, there's pressure to try, something new.
A good portion of times when I go out, there's going to be somebody that has it and is offering.
I am very curious to see what it's like.
It's hypersexual, that it makes all your sensations increased.
When I saw my friend get into crystal meth, I felt like there could be nothing worse than losing everybody that's important to you.
I like to know what I'm putting into my body. I like to know what I'm doing, how it's going to affect me.
You have the last decision, and it's not anybody else's. Nobody can make you do something. I go to a youth group that's called Legally, and they teach me a lot there. The fascinating thing doing crystal meth is that I have a very bright future.
The LGBT Foster Care Coalition, including founding member Center Kids, the center's family program, sponsored a parent recruitment forum at the center. LGBT foster parents and children in care talked about their experiences with the system and offered advice to audience members interested in fostering or adopting a child.
The agency representatives here today, just as a little bit of background, are all members of the coalition that Terry talked about, the LGBT Foster Care Coalition. And that's a local coalition based here in the city that brings together foster care and adoption recruitment agencies. LGBT people are welcome, as the signs say around the room, are welcome as foster parents. LGBT people are welcome as adoptive parents and welcome as mentors.
Going to the matching conferences, they would ask the picture, and I was no, I don't want a teenager. I was looking for the cute little 3, 4, 5-year-old, and they sent me Malcolm's picture. I was like, nope. Malcolm's picture. I said, nope. And then one day, the worker was so adamant on having Malcolm adopted. She said, why don't you just meet him? The first weekend, it was love at first sight. His brother is articulate. My son Brian is articulate. He gave me the life story. He told me about they've been through so much trauma. And by the end of that week, I called the agency and I said, I think I'm going to take both. And in the beginning, it was hard because the first time I went on an outing with Malcolm, and I didn't out myself to Malcolm yet. It was the first visit. And the guy comes across the thing, oh, this way, girl. And I'm like, And then I said, Malcolm, what do you think about that guy? He said, are you and this guy still friends? And I said, we don't see each other that much. And Malcolm said, is it because he's gay that you don't see him that much? And I said, why would you say? He said, well, he seems nice. And that was like the beginning of that conversation.
You really just have to prove yourself to them. It's not about, that you need to trust them, because it's about them learning to trust you. Don't set them up like, if you come in late, I'm sending you back, because that's what they expect. And that's been their experience. With foster parents, always send them back when they do something wrong. They call the agency. And one of my daughters says, she always felt like a pair of shoes that somebody bought at Macy's and brought home, and it wasn't a perfect fit, and they took them back. It's a whole education thing, and they really do teach you. They teach you an enormous amount, but you have to be open to it. You have to be willing. I always say you have to be willing to get to know yourself better than you ever have or ever wanted to know yourself, because you will react to them. They will push your buttons, and you'll react to them in a way that may not be particularly nice. And you have to be willing to say, why is that happening and why am I feeling like that?
I'll be totally honest with you. I wasn't fortunate enough to have these wonderful foster parents up here. I was placed in a home where the lady within 3 months told me she had me in her home just for a chat. It would have made it so much better to have somebody that could identify with me, because there were a lot of times I felt isolated. I run a support group now with LGBT kids, and they tell me all the time that they want somebody that will listen and not just say, oh, okay, I get it, and it's way past them. They really want someone to be like, well, your relationship ended, why, what happened? Can you work it out? Do you really like this person? Not someone to be like, oh, you got a boyfriend. Next, how are you doing in school? They really want somebody to be in tune, and if they don't get it, to at least be open-minded, to want to be educated about the issues that, LGBT young people go through.
Really seek out the type of children you want, know what it is that you want in your home. I have my non-negotiables. So I would say take your time, and I took my time, and when it was right, the agent said, are you ready? I'm ready to get a lawyer, I'm ready to adopt, and he now has my name. So now you have my name, you have to do what I said.
I'm, I guess, a parent sort of in waiting. We've gone through, my partner and I, been together for 15 years, and he said that we needed some more challenges in our life. And I think we get our son or foster son, well, he told us we had to call him a son. I think we may get him next week or the week after. So we're really excited.
We're very blessed every moment to have this little person in our lives, and it's really, really a great experience with lots of pluses, lots of life growth, and lots of challenges, which we'll hopefully be frank about. But the pluses outweigh the challenges, trust me.
On Sunday, September 28, 2008, the center will open its doors with free food, drink, and entertainment to celebrate 25 years of serving our LGBT community in New York City. Local groups will table with information, and the riders and crew of Breaking the Cycle will arrive at the center's doorstep after their 3-day cycling journey, raising money for the HIV and AIDS services of the center. Join us at this 25th anniversary celebration and help us welcome back the riders and crew of Breaking the Cycle. Michael Wilkie spoke at the center with New York Times advertising columnist Stuart Elliott about the current state of LGBT images in advertising. Wilkie is the founder of the Commercial Closet Association, an organization that advocates for respectful portrayals of LGBT people in advertising.
So what is advertising saying about our community? Well, Commercial Closet has an ad archive that's now over 4,000 ads strong. And over again, what we found is that lesbians are fantasies for straight men. Gay men are sissies or predators, and transgender people are deceptive or scary. And yet, gay couples, same-sex kisses, and gay marriage themes are also showing up. But LGBT stereotypes and homophobia and transphobia still remain often used tools for comedy and advertising.
A lot of these offensive commercials, I think, is that they come across as very judgmental. They're saying, you know, it's not okay if you're a sissy. It's not okay if you're not sufficiently interested in baseball or butch enough for Madison Avenue's taste. They're judging you for that.
I think we just accidentally kissed.
Quick, do something manly.
Sometimes people will say to me that, particularly in the Snickers commercial as an example, that the gist of it is not supposed to be that these guys are homophobic or that the advertiser is homophobic, but rather that the advertisement makes fun of homophobia, that these guys are such morons that we're supposed to be laughing at them
but then they undermine that, however you want to believe that, they then subsequently undermined it. If you went to their website where they had extra funny stuff, quote unquote, they had clips of NFL football players reacting to the commercial where the two guys inadvertently kissed, and the football players are expressing their disgust.
Universally. There was no other room
oh
for
man,
another
that's
reaction.
just wrong. Blah, blah, blah. And you know, whatever specious argument they want to make of, oh, we're making a meta comment on homophobia in today's society. That was all baloney based on all the other stuff they had on their microsite, which was basically celebrating homophobia.
Our next section is going to really present advertisers who are willing to go there, maybe to that third or fourth base, some options
That's
as well.
called home plate.
Home plate, yes, yes. To use a baseball metaphor.
Yeah, they're in the diaper bag. Oh, can you believe this? Yeah, we're a family. You're gonna make a great mom. So are you.
Now that John Hancock commercial was interesting because they were like, eventually what, 4 versions of it where they kept going back?
Edits.
It's a famously notorious case of how not to do it because they ran it and then, you know, the one woman says, you're going to make a wonderful mother, and the other one whispers, and so are you. The right wing went nuts. So
This is in 2000, so
they
it's
shot
actually
another
a while back.
version. They shot another
No,
version with what?
They cut it.
They cut it. They
You
cut the
so will
line where
you,
the
you'll make a
second
great
one
mom.
says, and you will too. Then they had to change it because the Chinese were complaining that they don't allow gay adoption, so they made a version where they inserted a gratuitous reference to Cambodia, thinking that, well, we'll pick a country that doesn't allow anybody to adopt anybody.
It's kind of where we're at, you know, where advertisers are trying to go there, and yet, you know, they're pulling back still just a little bit. They're not going all the way, you know, they're third base or something.
And that's all for this edition of Out at the Center. As the credits roll, we will watch some highlights from the Youth Pride concert, Visions of Pride. The Youth Pride Chorus recently returned from a trip to Miami where they participated in the Gay and Lesbian Association of Choruses Festival 2008, marking its 25th anniversary celebration. I'm Pandora Scooter. Power to the peaceful and love to all. Thanks for watching.